Summer might be over, but the appetite of Britain's political and media class to kick out a sitting Tory Prime Minister certainly isn't. Fresh from their successful bid to boot out Boris over lockdown birthday cake and some number 10 Tupperware, the sneer and snarls of the establishment have their sights set firmly on a no-confidence vote in Leeds last Liz. In admitting that she's willing to be unpopular, Liz Truss has offered Britain some sound economics. These radical reforms stand against orthodoxy, but many of the best things do. Just look at all they tried to do to deny us of our vote for British independence via Brexit. I'll tell you what this economic hiccup is all about, right? It's not about this mini budget. It's about printing money. It's about the lockdowns that all the media called for to be longer and harder. It's the war in Ukraine and the fact that Greta Thunberg is writing Britain's public policy, stripping away our energy independence in our pursuit of net stupid. Why should we listen to these so-called experts? These faceless organisations with an acronym that were wrong on Brexit and are wrong again now. I mean, take the Bank of England. If pension funds are in positions of needing bailouts, shouldn't they have clocked that something was wrong before now? Shouldn't they have clocked the financial crash? Take the most recent predictions of a recession. The Bank of England says Britain is in a recession as it raises interest rates by 0.5 percentage points. Well, I've got news for you. We're not in one. They're not the Bank of England. They're the Bank of Alarm and Despond. Is it any wonder that the government doubts their predictions? And the IMF warned of no growth during David Cameron's time in number 10. Britain went on to experience twice the growth rate and actually was the fastest growing economy in the developed world. The less Nostradamus and more mystic Meg, right? These technocrats may have been undergraduates at Oxbridge, but it looks to me, folks, like they did their doctorates at the Diane Abbott School of Economics. And speaking of Labour, I say to all those pro-Labour pundits in the press, and God knows there are many of them, if you think Liz Truss is reckless with the economy and that her plan doesn't stack up fiscally, yet you voted and campaigned for Jezza Corbyn, then I'm afraid I've got absolutely no time for your view, given all that Marxist maniac would have unleashed in Britain. We don't need the likes of former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, who saw the bank prioritise climate, inequality, diversity and inclusion agendas, politicising the bank's role, which is there to protect our pound and pence, not advocate whackery and wokery. This unelected cabal of global elites, they quite like the cosy consensus of EU-style higher taxes and lower growth. We should all be alarmed by the sheer power of international finance opportunists and their ability to overturn His Majesty's government economic policy. It's about time, I think, that we stopped allowing our mainstream media to think they're the ones that call the shots. It's up to all of us, not them, if Liz Truss and her reforms are actually what we want to vote for in 2 years' time. Ultimately, folks, if you ask me, if Liz Truss can ride out this storm, see Britain reap the rewards of post-Brexit competitive taxes and reforms, and actually be given a chance to make a case for those things, then I reckon she'll likely see electoral dividends. I reckon she's got to stand firm for the likes of Darlington and Dagenham, not those making use of annual visits to Davos via private jets and chauffeur-driven motors.